Radiant team ban. Oh. Dire team ban.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Dota 2 Canada Cup, Complexity Gaming versus Digital Chaos. This is Game 3, and Digital Chaos opens up with the stunning two bans of the Wisp and Gyro, and Complexity says, that Bat Rider is a terrible plan, we shall ban him, and they throw out the Oracle. So DC picks up the Vengeful Spirit. Maybe they can have better luck than the first game with him. Last game they actually banned him out to keep themselves from playing it. We'll see what they want to do this time. And the Darkseer Earth Spirit, two new heroes for this series come out. Once again, guys, I am the opinion engineer casting this game. I'll say your only source of actual Dota 2 casting on YouTube for this tournament. I see another stream, but likely it's Mott. I got no problems with Mott, but if you're looking for something alternative, you're in the right place.
Hey Morty, guess what time it is? I don't know, Rick, what is it? It's reserve time!
So DC goes for the Nature's Prophet. So last game I said there was either the push strat or there's the rat. Well, Nature's Prophet goes for the push and he goes for the rat. So we'll see what DC actually ended up doing. Hopefully he ends up as a pusher and not a ratter. Earlier today we saw somebody pick him up in the Captain's Draft 3.0. And he just got shit on. So we'll see if he has better luck. Maybe it was DC. Let me look at Join Dota here and see if I can actually find out.
Radiant team ban.
Today was the 20th. It was not DC. So we'll see if Boba's a better Nature's Prophet than the last guy I saw. And he's not too hard to... well,
Rick, there's only 10 seconds left to pick a hero.
He's a hero. If he's been taking the lessons from the Donger himself, it can't be that hard, right? So, bans coming out now. We see the Witch Doctor and we see the Lone Druid being banned by Digital Chaos. And we see the Anti-Mage and something else being banned by Complexity.
Rick, 10 seconds left to pick a hero.
See if they look to take out somebody else that could go into the late, if they take out like the Spectre or something. So the Nature's Prophet can buy you lots of time to rat if you need it, which if you have a very hard carry, that is great for them because that gives them longer to actually get online. And so they actually take out the Enchantress and make sure they don't snowball too heavily with the push here. So if DC want to go all in for the push, they have the Venge. Now you pick up the Visage, you pick up the Lycan, and then you pick up a Lash, anything at that point if you just want the all-in push here. I don't think we'll see that because that's if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you lost. I think that's how all Dota works though. So we'll see what Complexity actually wants to pick up for their third hero here. They have their offlaner secured. They have one of their supports secured. So they can either look to secure another support, pick up their mid, or pick up their carry. Darkseer Officer, Darkseer Spirit. Oh man. Darkseer Earth Spirit. Fairly versatile two heroes, so they can really pick up anything they want. I'm sure they have a strategy in mind to help deal with this Nature's Prophet. They only need somebody with a reliable stun, some nice range initiation, and the Lina, and gives you the mostly reliable stun, but it's a range initiation, and she can pick off that NP with the Laguna fairly easily. So we'll see if Digital Chaos actually want to go the
10 seconds left to pick a hero.
CIS carry Venge route here, if they want to go back towards that support Venge. So they pick up a Nyx
Pick it good.
for the mid, I guess. You don't see a Nyx mid too often anymore. So we don't know yet if this Lina is a carry, if it's a mid, if it's a support. It'll likely be either a carry or a mid. The support Lina has sort of fallen off.
Well, what do you know? It's reserve time.
But as Dota is a video game, I don't know where I was going with that one. Dota changes every match, so you know, it could be anything really. Burning up a lot of their reserve time here, so they're down to 20 seconds of reserve time. And so they pick up the Ember Spirit. That'll be their hard carry. Oh, it could be their mid too. See if they go for the EE style Ember Spirit. So they pick up a Dusa on Digital Chaos, so that is a Venge support. So Complexity needs to be banning out a support here. If they don't ban out a support, I don't really know what they're thinking.
Oh man, Rick, there's only 10 seconds left to pick a hero. Yeah, 5 seconds left now. Reserve time! Oh man, Rick, there's only 10 seconds left to pick a hero! 5 seconds, Morty. It'll be fine. Whew, Radiant team ban! Oh man, Rick, there's only 10 seconds left to pick a hero! Go, Dire Team! Pick him up! Pick him out!
Alright, so they ban out the... Why? Anybody else confused? So they ban out the OD. They don't really have room for an OD left in the DC lineup.
Oh man, Rick, there's only 10
So I'm not really sure what
hero.
their plan there was.
Yeah,
but
5 seconds
DC correctly bans out a Bane, as likely they need a...
Reserve time.
Alright, so they go for the Viper, so that's a support Lina, support Earth Spirit, mid Viper, could be a safe lane Viper, who knows, that stupid hero can go anywhere, and then Earth Spirit goes somewhere else. So now we're waiting for this last DC pick here. They need a support.
It'll be fine.
Unless they plan to run this. Nyx is a support, which is not really ideal. He needs a few items to actually get good. So it's pretty rough running him as a support. I don't think they'll look to do that. They'll I'd like to pick up some other available support. There's plenty available right now. Spending their sweet time debating about what support they want to get. Another... They have 2 stuns already. They don't really need another stun. Another stun wouldn't be terrible. I think the more stuns you have, the harder you win. So they actually go for the Invoker here. So this is a support Nyx Assassin. Offlane Nature's Prophet. Support Venge. So it's a mid Viper versus the Invoker here. This is bound to be an interesting game. So this is the first series that we see all but two of these heroes. So whole brand new, exciting. We'll see what Complexity and DC actually have in store for us. Once again, I am the Opinion Engineer, your source for YouTube casting.
Oh man, Rick, there's only 10 seconds left to pick a hero! Yeah, 5 seconds left now.
Alright folks, here we go. So we see Bulba fire up some treants and send them off to do some dirty things right away.
Oxygen-rich atmosphere, giant testicle
And
monsters. We'll be fine.
they even actually teleported straight to the mid tier 1 and is going to throw down a couple of deep wards right away to try to get some good vision. Hopefully to set up an earlier first blood, or just kind of try to buy some time for Yuar to make sure he doesn't get ganked in the first 7 minutes. He needs some time to get online. He's going the XR build. So it's a little interesting. I would have imagined them to try to send more people up towards the top to try to actually pick off a few more people. Bulba's kind of hanging out to throw out another set of treants before he has to head to lane.
Cuddle in with me.
See a nice ward come out from Complexity, and looks like there was a dead treant right there, so they likely spotted that out. And so here's a couple more treants heading down with Bulba towards the lane. The golden, where the hell he is. Doomling is heading back. Yuar picks up the Bounty Ruin up top, and Limp picks up the Bounty Ruin in the bottom. So we can see Swindle and Z-Freak, the Dark Seer and Earth Spirit respectively, heading down towards the bottom. And we see Mega Man and 1437 also in the bot on the Dusa and Nyx. In the mid, we have Yuar, who's already taken a decent bit of harass. And we see Aoi coming in with a really kind of meaningless stun there onto Limp. But it's some nice harass, and it'll secure Yuar a couple last hits. And we see Bulba on this Nature's Prophet in the off lane. And we see Chessie in the safe lane for the Dire, kind of pulling some creeps to kind of secure himself a few early last hits. He actually hasn't skilled a point yet, so he's looking to hold that until he actually gets into trouble. And now Handskin on this Lina has rotated into the mid to back up Limp. So there's a courier around here somewhere that brought out a salve to this Invoker. So checking around here, this Invoker is being Limp a little bit. You're just by 2 right now. Buddy's up. I mean, every little bit counts when you're in the mid here. So now Aoi heads up towards the top. Hanskin heads back to the top. Now that it's a fair one-on-one. Down in the bot here. It's fairly even. Well, it's not even at all, actually. So, this Deuce is not getting anything versus this a really tough time today, people. Versus Darkseer, and it'll take him a little bit, but then he'll start to kind of pull ahead a little bit. Once this Nyx gets a few more levels, and he can start throwing out the Mana Burn Harass on this Darkseer, he won't really have too much trouble after that. Yeah, so now this Darkseer is out of mana, minus a Mango, and he's got Soy Mask, so he'll slowly, or a Sage's Mask, he'll slowly work back up on mana. But the Ion Shell spam is cut off for a bit, so we can expect to see this Deuce leap back up top.
Blood.
And jeepers. So we can see the trade coming out in the mid. Sorry, I missed that there. And oh my jeepers. So this game is off to the rough start here. With the Ember Spirit and the Lena picking up the kill on the Nature's Prophet. And now they're looking for a couple trades here. Bulba's jumping back in to try to look for the counter kill onto Chessie. If he can find a couple more hits, he shouldn't really have too many troubles here. You could do it, Bulba. And he needs to watch out with that Flame Guard out. And Bulba is actually almost going to die here to Hanskin. And always a little short on the mana for the stun back to Hanskin. So now it's tied back up with some money going back to this Venge and Bulba. So that evens things up fairly well. But we can see top of the last hit charts, this Viper and this Darkseer is pretty much expected to be up on top. But UR isn't too far behind. So he will work on catching back up. He's almost got his level 5. Bulba and Ollie aren't having too terrible of a time down here. A little bit of a engagement onto this Dusa, but they don't have any other follow-up. This Darkseer had to pull back, as once again he is out of mana, but he has the Soul Ring up, so he'll be able to keep the Ion Shells just pumping out. And you are slowly gaining back onto this Viper, but it's going to take him a while, and he'll need some supports to rotate in and actually get a kill onto this Viper if he hopes to actually catch back up. But luckily, I would much rather be slightly behind an Invoker than slightly ahead on a Viper, as this Invoker is going to be able to do a lot more damage. Now another kill onto the Invoker is not going to make me happy, and he just barely gets the Ghost Walk off. So he is loving life for being able to get the Ghost Walk off and saving his life. So unfortunately, him having to run all the way back to base is going to eat up a lot of time, and he'll fall even farther down on the last hit chart. So he will definitely need a good rotation coming out from this next assassin if he wants to regain control on this mid lane. And so we see Aoi on the Venge come over to help him out, with Z-Freak hanging out with a double dust to make sure that he does not Ghost Walk away again. They'll look to make sure he doesn't sneak out with just a little bit of HP. A little bit of an engagement onto Limp here. It doesn't look like they'll have the actual damage to clean him up. Invoker's just a little bit under-leveled to actually kill this Viper right now. A little bit of engagement onto this Nyx Assassin here. They might be able to finish him off. but Z-Freak is out of mana, and Theben had just enough for the stun, so he will escape no problem, and this Dusa will secure a couple last hits while this Darkseer is out of lane. So we can see Bulba is doing fairly well. He's only 2 last hits behind this Ember Spirit. And so we see a nice rotation coming out from Z-Freak to actually pick off Yuara and this Invoker. So Theben comes up to help Yuara out here. He needs a partner in this mid. He is too far behind now to be alone in the mid now. Complexity is making sure that they keep him down and they keep him from snowballing. They actually have 3 people in the mid now. They want to pick off this Viper. They need to get Yuara back on top, and he's only level 5. So he is behind, drastically. Almost, there's only a few people that actually are behind him now. Even the supports are all the same level as him, and that is not where you want to be at 8 minutes on an Invoker in the mid lane. We'll see Z-Freak pick up this Invis rune underneath the nose of Theben, and he'll look to get a little scouting done. And for some reason this Deuce is coming out to be seen by this Earth Spirit, and so luckily this Darkseer was out of mana, out of health, and they weren't actually able to do anything with that information. So Yuara continues to slowly build himself up once again from the pits, and he's resorted to trying to kill some creeps here. Limp is having a grand old time in the mid with 45 last hits and 24 denies. That's doubling up the last hits of this Dusa, who has not really much contention because the Darkseer's just been rotating around trying to pick off the supports in the jungle. And Chessie on this Ember Spirit, who also has not really had anything to do because he's just against this Nature's Prophet, who just kind of sends some trades at him and he can kill those off fairly easily. And a bit of a pause coming out from Complexity here. We see Bulba working towards something. We'll actually see a Z-Freak here on this Earth Spirit behind this Nature's Prophet, and he's heading this way, so we might be looking for the wraparound onto this Invoker. And actually I need to go AFK myself for a second. 1 second, folks. I will be right back.
Oh boy, Dyer's bottom tower's getting hit. Oh, Radiant's top tower is under attack! 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 Oh, those little rascals are hitting Dyer's bottom tower. That force field leads me to believe that Dyer just fortified their structure. Radiant's middle tower is under attack!
Alright, jumping back into this here. Looks like we have a bit of an engagement going on the bottom lane here. So Ember Spirit jumps forward onto this Dusa. Looks like they're going to be able to clean up this Nyx Assassin, but not actually be able to get anything else out of this. Deep roll forwards by Z-Freak here, continuing harassment onto this Dusa. If this Viper can get in range of the Viper Strike, they'll be able to kill him off. And it actually looks like they'll be able to kill him off as the Dusa ran out of HP. That's generally how you die. But he ran out of mana, which is what ultimately led to his death there. And we can see pretty much all the damage done by the Dark Sphere there.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And so now we'll see this tower go down underneath the onslaught of a couple creeps and Limp.
Oh, Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But Uar and Boba are up here working on the trade for the top tier 1, and an easy 1-for-1, but still in favor of Complexity as they were able to get the kill onto the hard carry of DC.
Oh man, what? Get up on out of here, because Radiant just fortified their structure.
And now they'll look to try to take this mid tier 2. And if Dusa's not careful here, so Aoi will sacrifice his life in order to save the Dusa.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So Uar is heading over here on the Invoker, the Nyx Assassin is coming in, and Bulba's coming up on the Nature's Prophet. But this tower is likely going to die before they're able to actually do anything about it. And they'll lose the tower and hero. So another not really a trade, another fight in the advantage of Complexity. And so now we'll see a nice wraparound by Chessie here. He'll be able to pick off this Invoker fairly easily. This Invoker is down in the dumpster. He's down below this off-lane Earth Spirit, or this support Earth Spirit. That is definitely not where you want to be as an Invoker. And now it looks like this Ember Spirit and Earth Spirit will look to try to take out this top tier 1 from DC. With Swindle already behind enemy lines, creep cutting, they won't really have too much trouble with this. DC aren't really in a place where they're actually able to contest this, and unfortunately they aren't able to take a trade on, like, say, the bot tower. They could maybe take a trade on this mid tier 1, but Handskin is here to kind of deter them, and they'll just have to back up and wait for a better pick-off. So we see Bulba going for the courier, and one more hit he'll be able to get it. He is not able actually to convert that into a kill. So he'll kill off a couple creeps here and TP home before he gets picked off himself. And now we can see Swindle and Limp taking out a couple more creeps from the Radiant team. So we can see Thievin stalking this Ember Spirit here. And we missed the stun. And with the Invoker coming in, they might be able to get this kill. Ooh, just barely avoided losing that kill to Roche there, but luckily the damage was able to come through. But in the meantime, they'll be able to maybe pick off this with Dusa, surge forward on this Lina, and they'll actually be able to pick off this Lina. Alright, so that was perfect for DC. They're able to take out the Ember and the Lina and not lose anyone in exchange. So we can see that's about 900 gold going in the way of DC. And looking at the graph, they really needed that. They were 7,500 behind. You can see a nice roll forward by Z-Freak on the Bulba here. And the Magnetize comes out, and this will likely be a kill on the Bulba here. But Z-Freak may end up trading his life here. One last hit. Alright, luckily he TP'd out in range of the tower. and traded his life for that. So that's actually going in the favor of DC because the Dusa got the kill there. They need as much money as possible onto this Dusa. And looks like they'll be able to clean up Swindle here. Stick charges come out, Surge comes out, and they won't be able to catch him. There's no blink on this Nyx Assassin. So we can see drums come out from this Dusa. He'll probably look to pick up a Yasha yet next, just as a nice farming item. You can see Chessie here, just drums, 4-man shield. Doesn't look like he's going for the Battle Fury just yet. With 1,200 gold banked up, he might be looking to pick that up as the next item, now that he has a little bit of survivability with the drums. See Lena with a smoke in her inventory and 1,000 gold. We see this Nyx Assassin with 1,000 gold and arcane boots. Bulba has a Robe of the Magi and the drums. Not really sure what he's looking to pick up. He might be looking to pick up the Orchid to help with the pickoffs onto the Ember Spirit. This Vengeful Spirit has an urn and brown boots. Nice jump forward by Chessie here. And the Goon Blade onto the Vengeful will clear him off. And they'll look to try to convert this into a tier 2 push maybe, or they'll just back up and go for the Roche. Looks like they'll go for the tower. Decent damage coming out onto Theban here. So Limp has a Mechanism and a Blade of Alacrity. He'll likely go for an S and a Y next. Bulba's doing his best to split push as his team loses their mid tier 2. He needs to pick up the pace a little bit if he wants to make this worth it for his team, though. Nice jump forward onto this Dusa. The ult comes out from the Dusa, and they're able to repel them. See if they're actually able to clean up. If they can pick off Chessie here, that would be really nice for them. But nothing comes out, and it's 5 seconds away from the Gloom Blade here. So if the Dusa doesn't back up, he will die as soon as he goes in the next time.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant just fortified their structures. You know what I'm talking about?
Dusa heading forwards. A nice little combo here will kill him off. They'll lose their tower. And a nice roll forwards boulder onto the Dusa. Won't even need the Lacuna. And they clean up 3 people at the cost of Alina. That's why we didn't see the Laguna. But Bulba was able to get about 80% of this top tier 2. But all in all, much better for complexity than it was for DC. If Bulba was able to get that tower, it becomes a little more worth it. But they lose a tower and they give up 3 kills for just to support Lena. So really not worth it. And now we see Chessie with 2,500 gold. He'll be able to pick up his Battle Fury relatively soon. This Earth Spirit is going for a point booster, so he'll be going for an Ags first, so he can actually become the pre-nerfed Earth Spirit of horribleness and start gripping his allies and turning people into stone and just stopping a lot of the damage coming out from DC. We see the Invoker has finished up a Force Staff at a lovely 20 minutes in, and this is a result of him just being constantly ganked. So if Bulba is able to buy enough time for this Dusa and this Invoker to come online, they still have a chance, but it's going to require a lot of really nice split pushing from this Nature's Prophet. And so there is most of a Battle Fury coming out for Chessie.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And a Lotus Orb actually coming in for the Darkseer.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We see this Lita sitting on a staff of wizardry. So he could be looking for a Yule's. That's most likely what he's looking for. He could be looking for a Force Staff, but a Yule's makes the most sense on Lita. And Demon's got a bracer just for a little bit of survivability here. See a Blades of Alacrity coming out for this Dusa, so that'll be your Yasha into a Manta style.
Middle tower's under attack.
And there's the Void Stone, so that'll be a Yule's coming out for the Lena. This Darkseer sitting on a Force Staff, he just picked up that Lotus Orb. So maybe I'll look for a Blink next. Ember Spirit is about 800 gold away from his Battle Fury. Smoke coming out from Complexity. They might look to come around behind here and try to catch somebody out. Or they'll head up here to try to help out Limp. Limp will be dead, but they might be able to pick up a few of the DC heroes as they try to escape. So they should know that they have everybody collapsing onto them. So they head into the woods. That was actually 1,400 gold going towards the way of DC there. But now we'll see that gold start to swing the other way. We see the swap coming out in desperation from Aoi as they try to buy time for everybody else to get out. And Aoi will end up sacrificing his life when the Lena shows up and catches him with the Light Strike Array.
Dire's middle tower's under attack.
Meantime, looks like they're trying to do a little bit of a trade onto this mid-tier 1. But that was put to a stop when Zfrig TP'd back in with an IHL running on him. Nice big wave coming in towards this top tier 1. They can look to push it if they want to. They've scouting out Chessie and Zfreak here as they're rotating around, so this Juice and the Invoker will look to actually head up. They'll try to pick off this Earth Spirit, it looks like, and they shouldn't have any trouble with that Sunstrike coming in. So a nice clean kill. A little bit of catch-up gold for the Invoker. And there's the Battle Fury completed for the the Ember Spirit, and Bulba actually picks up a Maelstrom. So this is a bit of an odd. He's planning on having to push the lanes pretty hard, but he doesn't want to go for the max Wrath of Nature build, which would be the Octcore and the Ag Scepter. So now that Chessie has his Battle Fury, it looks like he'll head over to Roche. See this Viper sitting on a Yasha. Here comes a scouting Sunstrike from the Invoker, so they know what's going on, but they won't be able to get over there in time to do anything about it. Ideally, they'll be able to take out this top tier 2 tower. And Roche is at about half. This tower is at about 3/4. They might be able to take it out in time. Be nice if this Dusa could also clean up this mid-tier 1 in time, but they won't be able to do that. And they're not even going to make it to this top tier 2 before the Roche dies. So a couple quick TPs and they'll repel them from actually making the trade there. And with the Battle Fury out, that's the end of the creep wave. So that went very poorly for DC. And now this Ember is only 1,100 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. This Darkseer has picked up his Blink Dagger and another 900 gold. Everybody from DC has teleported out. And Bulba's head back to the bottom to continue to push this. And they're actually able to pick up the Lena on the Nyx Assassin there. So a nice little cleanup kill for him. And he's up to 900 gold with his Blink Dagger. So he'll probably pick up a Force Staff next, or some other useful item. Yuar has a point booster plus 2,300 gold. He might look to pick up an Ag Vex. His Ember Spirit and Earth Spirit are working on this top tier 1 tower, but we see this Nyx and Revenge are up here to repel them, so they likely won't be able to take this tower. But now with the Darkseer in, they'll be able to clean up the Nyx assassins. This Venge will have to stay in the woods or he will die. So they traded that top tier 2 for a bottom tier 2. Well, all in all, not too terrible. The Venge is still hiding in the woods here, so if somebody can TP in, they might be able to get a nice setup. And looks like you are, and Aoi had differing ideas on who they should actually go for there. So this Aegis is still up on the Earth Spirit, so or on the Ember Spirit, so they may look to actually try to push in towards this mid tier 2. It's mid tier 3. Everybody's here in the area now. Ideally, they need to get one more pick off before they can actually go for it, though. And they'll send the Darkseer up top to make sure that Bulbs doesn't get any funny ideas with this split pushing Nature's Prophet. And now this Nyx Assassin is off hunting in the woods to see if he can find anybody. The scouting alt from the Nature's Prophet will reveal a few people, and it also reveal their ward locations. So they actually see Thief in here, but with the Yules, with the stuns, with all the damage coming out, he will actually die. And so now they can actually look to taking out this mid tier 3. Unfortunately, their creep wave is way on the other side of the river, and Bull's pushing up towards this tier 2 tower, so they'll need to kind of head this way or TP straight there and try to pincer them in to keep them from getting anything done. So Bull was able to sprout away, but the vacuum follow-up says, no, good sir. And they'll be able to clean up Bulba here at the cost. So the Venge gets away, but so they traded a Nature's Prophet for a Lita in the end there, and slightly in the favor of DC. But you really don't want to lose this Nature's Prophet, because that is the only thing keeping you in the game right now. The Ags is done by the Invoker. Ember Spirit has 2k gold on top of a Blink Battle Fury. He'll probably look to pick up his crystals next. A full Scotty is actually flying out to the Dusa. So the Dusa's, the Dusa's only 1k behind this Ember Spirit.
Can anyone hear me? It's a killing spree.
And there's a nice pick off on the Darkseer by the Invoker. Nobody used any spells apparently. So he must have just gotten completely caught out, and that's actually 1,500 gold going in the way of DC, which is a nice little pick-me-up. And you are hiding in the trees here, which is the thing to do.
Warriors of the wood.
So we see this Nyx Assassin and this Venge still trying to whittle down the top lane here. But now the Agnim Scepter Ember Spirit is here. Might be able to clean up this Lina before they're able to kill this Nyx Assassin. Looks like they're able to kill the Nyx Assassin. They will be able to kill this Earth Spirit, but now the Ember Spirit is here, and he'll likely kill off both of these heroes. So in the end, a 3 for 3. Actually, that was probably a 3 for 2. I think yeah. So that was a 3 for 2. The Dark Spirit had, or the Darkseer had died in an earlier engagement. So Jesse's Aegis is gone. He's sitting on 4k gold. Still waiting to see what item he actually wants to pick up next. Uar sitting on 1,600 gold. He'll probably go for a sheep stick next. He could go for the blink, but he's already got the force staff for mobility, and another mobility item is really not what he needs right now. He needs to get something to lock down this Ember Spirit so they can get a couple pickoffs. This Darkseer's sitting on boots of travel, and he's got a gem flying out to him. His Vengeance actually got a Vlad's now to help out with the damage a little bit. So that'll help the Dusa out a lot with that Vlad's aura. And so now we'll probably look to see the Dusa finish off the Manta style after the farming Yasha. We have a Surged Invis Ember Spirit coming in. He's going to run smack into Yoar here if he's lucky. It doesn't look like he'll actually be able to catch him. They might have an idea the next assassin's in the area, but it doesn't look like. They'll just try to look for pushing up towards high ground a little bit to try to get Bold to come back. But they're going to lose this top tier 2, and Bold will be able to TP back in time to hopefully help defend this mid tier 3 before this Ember Spirit just kind of cleaves through it all. So the Dusa on the front line with their Scotty and 3k gold.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Be able to repel them. So this Dusa is actually getting enough farm to contend with this Ember Spirit. She's actually about to pass out this Ember Spirit here. And if they can intercept them before they actually get this farm, that would be great. But it doesn't look like they'll be able to do that. A nice blind blink would be perfect here, but the Ember, using his spatial awareness and his spider sense, remnants out just before they show up and kill him. DD on the bottom here. We'll see if anybody picks that up. And Roche will be up in about a minute here. So 3,500 gold up on this Dusa. He's got 2k surplus, so he'll look to finish up his mana style fairly soon here, but he doesn't want to lose buyback gold right now. So a BKB comes out for the Viper. This Lena, 500 gold. Yules hasn't really changed much in a while. This Ember Spirit, a Smoke, an Ags hasn't changed much more, but he's got a 900 gold. Bulba's actually finished up his Molmir, so he is all in on this. I'm gonna attack strategy. Nice engagement coming out here, and Complexity is just running all over this, and this Juice is gonna die to this double damage Earth Spirit. So that double damage one really screwed DC right there, and they'll lose 4 people. And Bulba might be able to get a little bit of harass onto the top tier 3, but the Darkseer's heading up to deal with it. So yeah, you can see 2,400 gold going in the way of Complexity, and a buyback actually coming out by the Venge to try to save their tier 3 mid tower here. And they'll lose it. They probably won't lose any racks. So Bulba actually goes down to the Darkseer and the Viper up top. And did he actually get any damage? So he's got this tower down to about 3/4. But now they're pushing in on the bot. The Roche is now up, so Flexi sees this. They'll clean up the Roche and they'll look to continue their push here. So this Ember Spirit picked up a Daedalus on the back of that team fight where he got just ungodly amount of gold from killing 4 people. Yuar is sitting at 3,700 gold, so he is probably looking to pick up his Sheep Stick is what I'm still gonna go with. He's got 2,700 extra, so he could pick up that Mystic Staff right now if he wants to. Looks like Complexity's grouping up, and they're going to head into the Roche Pit here. And DC should know they're missing everybody, so they'll dust and also head over to the Roche Pit to see if they can get a favorable engagement here. And the Invoker Magma Spirit picked off, so they know they're over here heading towards the Roche. So this is all the farther there is here. And they're noticing some lag. I noticed a lag too. It's okay, DC. So they'll give it a minute here to see if it recovers. And then we'll look to see, if DC loses this fight, the game's pretty much over. They really need to have a favorable engagement here. And if they get a favorable engagement, that Bulba will actually be able to take out a top tier 3, most likely. Look to see who actually gets the jump. So a Tornado followed up by a Meatball. They're still really having some issues, and they're going to continue. So they are having some serious issues over on the DC side. So they will reset. And we'll see what they can actually come up with here. It's never a good sign when you can't use your keyboard. It's generally important for Dota, unless you're playing all with your mouse. Maybe you got one of those MMO mice it's got like the 30 buttons on the side, and you have all your skills mapped to the mouse, and you're just your camera control is going to be a little rough, but maybe you only ever need to see your hero and you just got it centered on hero the entire time. And you're just playing hardcore style. So it looks like Demon wants them to come in and head up this way, but they need to head up this way. So they'll probably run up there to see if they pop smoke on anybody. If they don't see anybody, you can expect to see a Tornado just come screaming through the pit here. And they need to do this quickly, otherwise this Roche will be dead, and they will come out of this and just destroy them all. Alright, so they saw him in the pit now. They need to go now.
You know that Roshan guy that just got killed by Dyer? He owed me money.
Alright, so now... So Jesse's gone, and they killed this Roche. And, I'm assuming they're expecting him to actually pick up this Aegis. Nope, so the Limp actually picked up the Aegis, but Jesse's actually AFK, and Swindle's sick, apparently. So Jesse's back, and maybe DC can try to get some people, but they need to just run for it and sit in their base until Complexity comes knocking at their door. Swindle TP'd up top. He'll clean up all the creeps up here, and Volvo won't be able to get any split pushing done. So he's actually got double boots now. So we'll look to see, if Volvo can split push this and rat it up for the victory here. He's sitting on 2,500 gold now. But Complexity is going to just group up and head right down the mid here. You can see the Darkseer TPing in, and they'll just head down the mid and look to end this game. So we got their Aegis Carrier out front with the Eagles on. He'll have his Butterfly out pretty soon here. And DC's going to need to make a stand here. So they actually have an Eagles on up on the Dusa, so they'll look for a Butterfly on him as well. Decent amount of damage onto Limp here, but the Lotus Orb clears off the stun, and they just back up. So they took out the ranged racks. That's really not ideal. Looks like Bulba is able to pick up a little bit of damage onto this this bottom tier 3. So a little jab here and there from Bulba will eventually add up, but he's going to need to go for the full rat build pretty soon here if he wants to bring this back for his team. Nice engagement here. So do they have detection? They have detection out. Chelsea's going to be able to clean up Yuar here. They're actually able to clean up the Lina and the Darkseer, but they lose the Dusa. They might... Nope, they won't lose the Earth Spirit. They won't lose the Ember Spirit. And they won't lose the Invoker. So even though they lost the Dusa, killing that Darkseer and killing the Lina threw a lot of gold into the hands of DC, which is all they need right now. Yeah, that was a 714 gold killing spree that they had. So they might lose the Aegis on Limp here. Nope, he'll get back and heal back up. Complexity would really like to pick up this melee rack. So, well, they still have the Aegis, but they're all out of HP. Alright. They're all out of HP, and their supports are likely tapped out of mana. Actually, this Earth Spirit's got plenty. But with their big stun and their big longbow combo gone, they'll have to wait a little bit here. So, if they can work on pushing back up this mid, the Darkseer can just TP back on top of them. Looks like Lina will just go and farm up a couple creeps here. He's up to 1700 gold. He might be looking for a Blink Dagger. And so they'll head back down mid. Now that they have another creep wave, they have their Darkseer up. He'll likely TP onto this wave in a second here. They have their Aegis Carrier out front. And they'll look and see if they can actually take this last Rax in the mid here. So the Invoker actually picked up a Sheepstick as anticipated. Alright, so Limp's out front, taking a brunt of their damage. Nice swap coming out onto Chessie there. They'll pick off the Ember Spirit, and the Deuce is running forwards in the front line. Buyback on the Ember Spirit, he'll TP back in. The Deuce is standing, tanking, doing a lot of damage. He is turning and running though, and he will die before he's actually able to finish off this first Limp Aegis. Buyback on the Nyx Assassin. The Invoker is almost dead. Okay, so there's the Aegis on Limp. The Darkseer is almost dead. The Dusa is still dead. The Nyx Assassin is dead. And there is the melee barracks. They'll head to the bot, and they'll look to just end this right now. This Deuce is going to have to buy back. This Deuce can't buy back. He went all in on the butterfly here. So they'll likely be able to end this before the Deuce is actually able to buy back. Alright, so this will be a dieback on Chessie if they can actually get him out. They really needed that kill right there. Swap in on Swindle, but the long range rock will come out. That'll kill AOI. Alright, so buyback on the Venge. The scouting little Sunstrike here. They ran out of creeps for a second, so they're not able to continue this at the moment. But unfortunately, Bulba wasn't able to actually take anything in the meantime there. Ideally, he would have TP'd up top here and pushed this in. But he was out of creeps, so he couldn't. Alright, so all in all, obviously that was better for complexity. They used up a lot of buybacks on the DC side there. So the only people with the buyback now are all on complexity. So another push in like that, and that'll actually end the game. So they can wait for another Aegis if they need to. I don't really think they need to. With a fresh BKB coming out for the Ember Spirit, they'll be able to just run down one of the lanes and clean this up. This Dusa desperately needs to get the extra 1,000 gold that he's missing to get this buyback. If they're able to jump in and pick him off, they'll be able to just run right down whatever the lane they feel like and end the game before the Dusa is ever alive.
The seeds of fortune.
So this Nyx Assassin is up in front, scouting out. Looks like they want to try to go on this Viper. And jumping on the Viper is just going to get you all killed because they don't have the damage to actually deal with him right away. Bulba up top with a Demon Edge now. He's going for an MKB, I guess, to deal damage to this Viper. He's going for a really weird split pushing build. And now he's back down bot. I don't know if he's going all in and go for the Divine Rapier or something. So some decent damage out on it. Chessie, if they can pick him off here, he doesn't have a buyback. He's working on it. He's working on it. Blink Dagger down for another 3 seconds. He won't actually be able to pick him off here. Chessie will be able to get out just in time. And now they'll look to head in, and they should be able to pick off Bulba pretty easily here. Alright, so there's Bulba down. He's going for an MKB to help deal with this Viper. And if they can find Yuar here, they'll be able to find Yuar. They'll be able to pick him off. There's nothing that Yuar is going to be able to do to get out of this. He is dead. And the Nyx Assassin throws his life. Yeah, because everybody else is dying. Why can't I just die? And now they'll look to push this right down the bottom and put an end to this game. They need to wait another 10 seconds here for creeps to show up. But they're just going to pop all their... They'll pop their Manta and they'll be able to work through this backdoor protection, no problem here. So they're trying to get a little bit of a trade onto the top. The Darkseer heads home because he's not really needed down here. But they'll be able to clean up a sprint lane of Rax here. They're able to kill off the Lina, then they immediately kill off the Venge. The Ember, Earth, and Viper will head up to the top and look to Mega Creep them. And there are no buybacks. So this will likely just be the end of the game here. In 10 seconds they'll have the Invoker, but he's not going to be able to fend off these 3 people by himself. And so this will be Megas, and this will likely be the game. They'll have maybe 1 fight in them. I mean, the Dusa can deal with Megas. She's got plenty of farm. She'll be able to put up a fight. But if the Dusa dies again without buyback, yeah, that's game over. And so now, Complexity just needs to play it safe. They can wait out this Roche if they want to. Otherwise, they can just start throwing bodies at this and just go for a couple pickoffs and win the game here. But they want to win. They want to advance into the upper bracket here, or continue in the upper bracket. So they will play it safe. They'll wait for this Roche. They'll just farm it out. And DC is not really going to be able to leave their base. They're going to be constantly pushed in. Bulba can't split push enough with this Molmir MKB to actually make a difference. He needs an Octocore Refresher Eggs to be able to deal with this. You know, just with 10,000 friggin' treants. And looks like they'll smoke up and head in for the win. And they'll actually pause up and I'll disconnect. So obviously DC is having some connection issues. Is that the reason they're losing? Maybe. It doesn't really matter. They are 1 fight away from losing this game for sure, and they are... I mean, this is Complexity's game to throw right now. And I don't see Complexity throwing this. They're going to have to throw 10 lives at this... They'll have to throw 10 lives at this throne, lose them all. DC will somehow manage to push in either the top or the bottom in time and, you know, take their throne before they spawn. The chances of that happening, very slim. But we'll see what this smoke can grab them here. If they're able to pick off a hero, they'll be able to easily walk into the base here. So they're going to see this Dusa up top farming. And they're going to try to head up for this Dusa. Hopefully none of these treants actually... Jesus. Hopefully none of these treants actually hit any people so they see the guys moving over. So always just kind of delaying the inevitable here. So some lovely drawings coming out from Yuar And so these guys will come over here, pick off this Juice, force the buyback out. So DC needs to get up here as soon as possible to try to stop this kill. And they are not able to. Here comes the buyback. Here comes the kill. And so this is the game, folks. Yep.
That's ridiculous.
So Complexity is just too far ahead right now. They are over 30k in front. And that's all she wrote. So Complexity moves on to the next round of the upper bracket in the Dota 2 Canada Cup. So I am the Opinion Engineer. If you like this, let me know. You can find me at Opinion Engineer on YouTube, and Engineer's Opinion on Facebook, and an Engineer's Opinion on YouTube, as you already know. Alright, hope you had a good night. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'm out.